Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, LSP, and it's time to talk about the Connors. Are y'all ready? Tonight is the final episode of this season, but as I said last week, Lori Metcalf has let it out the bag that we do get season 2. So I'm excited about that, y'all. So as we get ready for tonight and the season finale, let's talk about last week. The last episode was called Don't Shoot the Piano Teacher. There were 2 stories. A story was Darlene, Ben, her kids, and the piano lessons. And the B story was Becky and her relationship with her father of her baby and her baby shower. Alright, so the A story, the piano lesson. So, Ben and Darlene have been dating for a while, and she figures it's time to introduce him to her kids. So she's at Becky's restaurant with the kids. They're, of course, on their phones, which goes back to Tech Tuesday, if you haven't seen it today, talking about us and our phones while we have a meal. But anyway, so they're on their phones, and Darlene's trying to tell them, and they're, being Darlene's kids, they're about as witty as she is. But I felt like the funniest part of that was when little Mark got up and ran out. Just ran out. And you're thinking, oh no, he's sad. Then he ran back in and was like, gotcha. So, that was that was it for the restaurant. And then they go over to the house, and they have Ben over for dinner. And Jackie's there. And, it's the whole family thing. But little Mark decides that he wants to join the orchestra, but he needs piano lessons. And of course, being the broke folks that they are, Darlene tells him that they can't afford it. Well, Ben's like, hey, I'll give him piano lessons for free. And then Darlene is using this, of course, as a chance to see how her kid interacts, how Ben is going to interact with her children. So she's cool with this idea. So fast forward to the piano lesson, a couple of weeks in, and Mark doesn't want to practice his scales. So Ben is, he asked him to play the scale. Mark plays some little song he'd made up, the knuckle. And anyone who's ever taken piano lessons, you know that piano teachers hate the knuckle song, and they hate chopsticks, okay? I've never met a piano teacher that wanted you to play those things on their piano. So anyway, he ends up, telling Mark if he's not going to be serious about it, then, why should he keep wasting his time? Well, Mark starts to cry. Well, his eyes well up. He didn't really cry. And he ran out. Well, yes, if you've been watching long enough, and of course, if you're here watching this video, then you watch the Connors. Mark is a sensitive one. So, of course, Darlene swoops in as the helicopter mom and is like, hey, you made my son cry. And Ben's like, no, I'm telling him he's got to be accountable. So anyway, fast forward, after soccer practice, Mark is sitting in his room watching his tablet, and his mom, Darlene, is like, I'm sorry for the way Ben reacted, and I told him you don't have to take piano lessons anymore. And Mark's like, no, I want to. And she's like, but he made you cry. She's like, no, I was crying because he was right. I was crying because I was mad at myself. People want to be held accountable, even though we know that, it might hurt their feelings and it might crush their creativity a little bit. They still want to be held accountable, right? So let's move on to Becky really quick. The Becky story was, oh, no, that was not the end of Darlene. So Darlene goes into work the next day, and she tells Ben that Mark still wants to take lessons, and basically he was right and she was wrong, and ends with him ribbing her a little bit, and then he's like, well, someone wants to buy the magazine and they want me to move it to Chicago, and then I want you and your kids to come with me. Well, Darlene is like, taken aback, and she's got to think about it. But we know that if the Connors are to go on the way we think they should, we know that Darlene's a center point of this family. She won't be moving to Chicago, but it'll be interesting to see how they unfold that. Because if they indeed weren't to have a second season, I would think that Darlene would move on to Chicago and we'd button this up and be done with the Connors. But I'm pretty sure that's not how that's going to happen. So let's go on to Becky really quick. Becky is having a baby shower. Jackie's holding her baby shower. And her husband, Emilio, not her husband, the father of her baby, Emilio, wants to be in the life. But Becky, being apprehensive and having fear, and definitely after her love, Mark, died, she doesn't feel like love is going to exist forever. You know, she doesn't feel like she should trust love anymore because it's only just going to be taken away from her. And so she doesn't want Emilio in the child's life. But Jackie gets him to come to the baby shower. He brings a horse from Lowe's, a rocking horse. And Dan then sees him. Dan talks to him. Dan, knows he's an undocumented immigrant. And so but he still offers him a job. And if you've been around again long enough, you know that Dan's truly against this. But Dan put his family before that. Son Pop. So he offered him a job, hanging drywall or painting drywall or something with the drywall, and he accepted it. My car just did something weird. But this made Becky very angry, both Jackie and Dan interfering. And that's when she basically went and told them that she doesn't need him. And she didn't say I have a fear of abandonment, but that's what it came down to. But she's going to try to work with that. So we'll see what happens tonight. It's the grand finale, y'all. We're done with the Connors for this season. We made it through season 1. I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next season. All right, y'all. So come back next Tuesday. We will wrap up the Connors. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. As always, no fear and no regrets. You're awesome. See you next Tuesday.
Quiet.